Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here from simpleprogrammer.com. I'm in Florida. It's hot. It's humid. I thought I'd do a quick response to the veganism video that I posted. I knew this was going to get some heat. You can check out the video here. But and you know what? I want to preface this by saying that I don't care about the heat necessarily. I don't care that up votes, down votes, doesn't really matter. I knew it's a controversial thing. Obviously, it's a religious topic, right? If you're a vegan or you're a vegetarian, you're gonna be on one side of it. There's no convincing you otherwise. And if you're a carnivore like myself, then you're gonna be eating the meat. But you know, it's not gonna change your mind. But what I did find that was interesting, which I have to agree with, right? And again, I usually say don't take feedback, but feedback is a little bit different. What I mean is don't be pressured by what people say to respond or to change what you're doing. But I do have to say that despite that, what a lot of you that commented that, especially I appreciate those of you that commented in a respectful way and said, hey, you treated the topic with tact, and I'm treating you with tact in the comments. Good, appreciate that. It helps you get your point across. But anyway, a lot of you that had some valid points really said that, hey, John, you're talking about this, and maybe you're not as educated on this as you could be. And well, I disagree on that point. The fact, I mean, I read all the studies that come out, definitely on protein, veganism, on all the bodybuilding, weightlifting, you know, pretty much all of that stuff, supplements and whatnot. And I'm familiar with the studies. I'm familiar with the books and the literature on the subject. But what was really valid about it was that you said, hey, you haven't done this. So you're talking about that it's harder to gain muscle, to get the protein, to follow a ketogenic diet, or to do an optimal diet if you're a vegan, but you haven't tried it, John. And you know what? That's a pretty damn valid point, because that is the exact same argument that if someone made a video like mine, that I would say, especially in the fitness, especially in something that's so testable, right? A lot of the credibility that I have here when I give you fitness and diet and nutrition advice on this channel is that you look at me, right? And you're like, hey, John, you look like you're a fucking ripped tank. Thank you. I like to compliment myself in a video. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, I looked the part, right? If I was giving you fitness advice and I was a twig and I was like, oh, this is how you build muscle, there's some people on YouTube that do that, you'd be like, yeah, bullshit, John. What do you know? What are you talking about, right? But that's not the case, right? I look the part. That it's real easy to tell if someone who is giving fitness or diet advice is full of shit, because if it's not working for them, if they're not practicing what they preach and it's not having results for them, then what the hell are they talking about, right? Obviously, they should look the part. So what I have to say about that then is basically this. You guys are right about that, right? Now I have my doubts. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't think that I'm going to get good results or very good results doing a vegan diet, doing the lifting program. I think it's going to hurt. I don't think it's going to be as effective as eating meat. Okay, but I could be wrong. Right, I could be wrong, and testing. And I always say this, right? Whenever someone gives you some advice, even if they look the part, even if they're doing what they're saying, they're practicing what they're preaching, you still got to test it on yourself for a couple of reasons. One, because you don't know what kind of smoke and mirrors may be involved. They may be telling you one thing and doing another. That happens a lot in the fitness industry, in the bodybuilding magazines, right? Those guys are like, oh yeah, this is my workout, right? Or you see The Rock's workout and you're like, and what he eats, and you're like, bullshit. Your program is called anabolic enhancement. That's what your program is. Like, you could eat fucking donuts, and the fact that you're injecting testosterone, that's what's giving you results. You see that in the fitness magazines, bodybuilding magazines, all that shit. So you should test shit on yourself. Okay, that's definitely true, because you don't know if someone is lying. You don't know what they're actually doing. So that's one reason. And the second reason, you know, which I try not to lean too much on, but we do respond differently. Different people's bodies, different people, you know, we have different genetics, we have different metabolisms. We do respond differently to training, to diet, to nutrition, to meal timing, to all of those things. So you got to test on yourself, and you got to optimize for yourself. So with that said, I will, at some time in the future, I've got some goals, I've got some things right now that I'm working on, so I'm not going to commit to it right now. But I will test out a vegan diet with my program, doing my running, doing my lifting, trying to get it working into the program that I've been talking about. I've been working with the 1 meal a day, the OMAD, and I like that. I should call it OMAD. 1 meal a day. Oh, mad, because you're oh mad by 5 o'clock. So I'm going to test it out. I'll try the vegan diet out, honestly, okay? And we'll see what happens, and I'll report the results back, and then we can see. That's the best way to handle this thing. So again, appreciate those of you that you know that treated with tact. I agree, was not the best video. I didn't bring you know I didn't do a lot of research for the video, honestly. I just kind of did it off the cuff because someone asked me what's your opinion. So when you ask me what's your opinion, I'm going to tell you what's my opinion. My opinion still is what I said in the video. My opinion is it doesn't really matter, and if you want to optimize, you know, then I think a carnivorous diet is going to be optimal. But like I said, I haven't tested it, so right now it's just my opinion. But once I test it, and then we'll see what happens, and I'm totally open. Hell, I hope it worked. You know, actually, I'll just say one last thing to wrap this up. There's one thing as I recorded that video, the first thing I Googled after that was Silverback gorilla diet. Because I thought to myself, I said, well, because I was thinking, like, is it really possible to gain a lot of mass, like to have a lot of muscle if you're mostly eating vegetables, right? If you're mostly vegan diet. So are there animals in the animal kingdom that are like just jacked as shit that eat mostly vegan? And silverback gorilla came to mind. Now, they are sometimes carnivorous, but they're mostly vegetarian, and they're huge. Those guys are ripped, right? So I looked up their diet, and that's what it turns out to be. So maybe there's something here. I don't know. You think about it, like a rhinoceros too, or like, you know, a huge elephant. You know, they're not necessarily jacked. They're not ripped. They have a lot of muscle, but they had to build that muscle somehow. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm curious now to find out. I don't think I'm never going to become a life vegan. I can't imagine that. But hell, I'll try it out. All right. Hope you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and click that subscribe button below if you haven't already. If you want to throw some vegan hate to the original video, you can check out the original video here. And I'll talk to you next time. Take care.